So you decided you wanted to start leveling up Silo, but you don't know if you should go weapon power or ability power. Well, let's jump into it. So Silo and Venomess are the two survivalist heroes in Wayfinder, and they have the distinct advantage of being able to play both weapon and ability power at the same time. So if you're unsure if you want to build weapon power or ability power, this is going to be the leveling guide for you. So let's jump down and look at their stats and figure out which direction you guys want to go and when, which affinities to prioritize, and what stats to prioritize and when to prioritize them. Now, the first thing we want to do is look at the abilities we're going to be getting from our affinities. The primary affinity we are going to be focusing on is the Discipline affinity. What this is going to give you is a 10% chance to crit against any target that is debuffed. The second ability we're getting from the Discipline tree causes your critical strikes from basic attacks to reduce the cooldown of your abilities by 20%, and that can happen every 6 seconds. That's going to be key to helping you keep your oil bomb and your ignite on the enemies as much as possible. The other ability we're going to be focusing on is Focus. We're not going to be able to get this until after level 21. It's going to cause your hits with ignite to grant you 1% ability power bonus for 10 seconds that can stack up to 5 times. Not super useful, but we're building this kit out for when they fix the bug where we can get 2 level 15 abilities. Once that's fixed, you'll be able to take this all the way to get the second point from this tree. And the second point from this tree is the one we really want, which is basic attacks have a 2% chance to refresh the cooldown of Firebomb. It's a low percentage chance, but more Firebomb, the better. The Instinct tree will give you more chances to use your ultimate, and Silo's ultimate's nice and all, but you're already going to be using his ultimate a lot, so I don't think there's really a reason to go into that tree. His ultimate's one of the fastest charging ultimates in the game, in my opinion. Now for the weapon choice for this build, we're actually going to be using the Knight's Edge daggers. You can use any daggers pretty efficiently with this build. Knight's Edge are the ones I would recommend. My second choice would probably be the Venom daggers for this particular build. The reason we're going with the daggers is because the dagger mastery gives you a higher crit chance than you do with the guns, and a little bit more survivability, which is going to be critical if you're focusing all of your stats into offense and kind of sacrificing the defensive stats, which is what we really want to do with this build. So the mastery we are going to be picking up is Inspiring Flourish, the same thing we did with the Venomous build guide. Increase your critical strike chance by 4% for 10 seconds per flourish point consumed, up to 12%. That's at level 1. Now at level 2, that is going to be up to 18% because you'll get 6% per flourish point. And at level 3, it's going to go all the way to 24% because it's 8% per flourish point. That in combination with the 10% from debuffing enemies gives you a 34% critical strike chance, which means you won't be needing to put a lot of points into crit rating. Now, if you want to do this with the rifle instead of the daggers, you can. You'll want to go with the critical reload mastery in that case. When you hotspot reload, you're going to get 8% critical strike chance, and that's going to be dependent on how many rounds you're reloading. So if it's a full magazine, you will get that full 8%. That's at tier 1. At tier 2, it goes up to 12%, and at tier 3, it's going to go up to 16%. Now, the same thing I said on the Venomous guide, I would not recommend doing this with the Tempest because to get the Tempest fire rate up high, you need to be reloading with half the magazine still in the gun, which means you're not going to get the full critical strike chance off of that. This would probably be very effective with the long shot because the long shot is going to give you those extra weak points to hit, which are 100% crit strike chance when you hit them, which is going to really play into the crit power stacking that we're doing with this build. Alternatively, the Arc Storm would be another good option if you want even more wave clear than you're already going to have from the Firebomb and Oil Bomb. Now for the ability point breakdown, we're going to want to get 2 points into Oil Bomb as soon as possible, and the reason why is because oiled enemies are more likely to be critically hit. That's going to give you even more crit chance against the enemies that have Oil Bomb applied to them, which means even less crit rating is going to be required as you get further and further into the build. After that, I would recommend going 3 points into Firebomb. The first point is going to cause more direct damage. The second point is going to cause more burn damage. And the burn ticks on Firebomb will be able to critically strike, so those will be able to scale off your crit power as well. Now, the level 3 point on here will cause enemies that die while burning to detonate, dealing damage to nearby enemies, which is going to increase your AoE damage, and that should unlock, I believe, at level 21. As far as the last 2 talent points, that's really up to your playstyle. You can put some into Proto Clone to help increase your clone duration if you need that extra survivability boost. You could put some into your Arch Nemesis to get a little bit more damage. I think the way I would go with this is putting 2 points into Arch Nemesis, because that slow is going to count as a debuff on the enemy, which is going to cause your triggers for the extra crit strike chance against debuffed enemies. Now, as far as stat priorities go with this build, your primary stat focus is going to be crit power once you hit level 5. Your secondary stat priority is going to be crit rating. And I would put a lot of emphasis on this early on and then start to focus less and less on it as you get higher level. If you have around 4,000 to 5,000 crit rating once you hit level 30, you are set. That is probably going to be more crit rating than is necessary with this build. For level 30, you're going to be targeting 10k crit power. 9k is pretty hard to get. 10k is really hard to get, but you should easily be able to get to 8k crit power pretty close to the time you hit level 30. Once you get your ideal echoes, you're going to be able to push that to 10k or higher for your crit power. Now, the third offensive stat I would prioritize is going to be ability power. And the reason why we're taking a focus on ability power over a focus on weapon power is because you're going to be hitting more enemies more often from the burn damage than you're going to be hitting them with the dagger. So a little bit extra damage on the abilities is going to be very beneficial. Now, as far as the defensive stat priorities go, the only 2 that are going to be really beneficial to you are going to be resilience and max health. I would probably put more focus on max health. I honestly do not know why I have my resilience as high as I do right now, but the resilience being high is a little bit more beneficial than higher physical defense or magic defense, but it doesn't need to be as high as I have it right now at level 20. I would definitely benefit more from having more HP, and I probably need to reorganize my echoes a little bit because I haven't done that in a little while. Probably like 3 or 4 levels now. I have been having a lot of fun with this build. It's been the first one that's really clicked with me since trying to get off of playing Venomess all the time. This build puts out a massive amount of damage even at low levels while leveling up, and can clear content relatively quick. It does play very similarly to the current meta Venomous build, and I think that's why I really like it, because you don't really need to focus on either weapon power or ability power with either one of these characters. And I really wanted to test to see how well that worked on Silo, and spoiler alert, it works really, really good on Silo, just like it does on Venomous. So it's really up to you which one you prefer to play. If you want to play with ability and weapon power, these are the 2 characters you really want to focus on. Venomous has healing and damage over time, and a lot more damage, I think, than Silo. Silo has a lot more utility in his kit, but still pumps out an insane amount of damage with this build. As far as which echoes you should be focusing on at level 30, I will have a video coming out soon detailing the pros and cons to all the crit power focused echoes. That should be coming out relatively soon. But as far as which echoes I would focus on while leveling, that is going to be the Deadeye Shrike Echo. It's your best crit power echo early game. After that, when you get closer to the end of the game, Lightkeeper Echo, Talon Echo, and Wolf Echo are going to be your friends. If you guys have any questions about the build, let me know in the comment section down below. If you guys would like to see this build, I'll probably be playing it this weekend during my live streams here on YouTube or over on Twitch. I have a link in the video description down below with all my social medias, including the Twitch channel and our Discord server if you guys are looking for a group of people to play Wayfinder with. And don't forget to like the video. It really helps push it out to more people. And of course, subscribe if you're looking for more Wayfinder content, including the final version of this build once I hit level 30 on Silo, hopefully this weekend. Until next time, guys, happy hunting.